Hello, today is Wednesday, August 28th, 2024. My name's Daniel Mullany, and behind the camera again we have Nico Greiner, and today we are here to film a video source inspection of a fully remanufactured 4300S Semitool spin rinse dryer. Our customer is located here in the United States, and their PO number is 020072. I'll go ahead and get the process started and then discuss the system as it runs. Here we have a full lot of 200 millimeter silicon substrates. Pretty standard process right here. Okay. And the process is started. So, as I mentioned, we have a 4300S spin rinse dryer right here. This system is configured with all of our typical options, which includes a static eliminator, a resistivity probe, and DI water recirculation. It is a single stack, single chamber system capable of running up to 300 millimeter with a low profile cassette, but in this circumstance we're running a 200 millimeter process. And for this project, our customer has one of these exact systems in their building, but the older version with the older style controller. And so what we're doing is we're going to have a project here where we're going to provide an additional unit to them, and then we're going to take their system, refurbish it, and upgrade their control system so they have two matching Sitek systems for their production line. And so that's one of the great things that we can do for our customers, is really help them with flexible solutions to not only upgrade their line but also expand it, and then make sure that the equipment's going to match. So that way when they have their systems in operation, they have two identical systems that can share the same spare parts. A good example of that with this project is that our end user system is a 208 volt system. So we've configured this system to accept 208 volt power, so that way the way that the wall is currently configured with their facilities can be used for this tool. Okay, so we are currently already completed with our rinse process. The rinse process is a 60-second rinse that is really more of a quality rinse to make sure that if any of the chemicals from the previous step were left on the cassette or substrates, that they're washed out, and really so that the SRD is actually keeping itself clean in order to allow it to run optimally on future runs and not have any kind of contamination get into the surface of the bowl chamber. From there, we're going to go into a purge step. During the purge, we're going to route the nitrogen through the DI water manifold and blast any of the residual water out. The goal here is to prevent any of that residual water from sitting around during the dry cycle, because if that happens, then that water can then drip out and get whipped on to the cassette and substrates towards the end of the dry cycle. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have an issue with water spotting that's going to affect the surface contamination and the yield of any products manufactured in that area of the wafer. From there, we're going to go into our dry one step, which is where we're at right now. We're currently running at a high RPM, 1800 RPM. I feel the front of the system right here and everything feels great. It's running nice and smooth. And we're going to be here for about a minute and a half. Our goal now is to whip the majority of the water off of the cassette and substrates, so that way all of basically the big droplets can be slung off, and then we can use the N2 heater and the bowl heater to complete that drying process. So we're now ramping down to that lower RPM to use those heaters to finish the drying process. We're going to settle at 500 RPM, and then the heated nitrogen and the bowl heaters, which were already on but are now taking over as the primary drying function, are going to kick into play. And so because we're running at a lower RPM now though, we're going to have a longer dry time, about 300 seconds to complete this process step, so that's 5 minutes. But what that does is it gives us the optimal surface contamination results that we need out of the SRD by using that two-stage dry. This is going to give us the least particles added during the drying step and allow you to improve your yields for any processes after the spin rinse dryer. This is particularly important for any step that you have that's particle sensitive. A good example would be a diffusion process, where making sure that there's no particles that can get grown underneath an oxide layer or something like that are going to impact your ability to produce your devices. Okay, now what I need to do as well is inspect the back of the system to confirm everything looks good on this end. Everything does. I don't see any leaks. This tool has been running here for several days now and has been running great. I turned on the DI water recirc and turned it off. That's operating properly as well. And then I take a look at our serial number, and we have SRD-01650. That way our customer can identify this tool on arrival if they'd like to compare it to the video. And so our ability to provide units like this, which is a remanufactured unit, although it looks new, really comes down to the refurbishment process that we've developed over the years. We take every step possible during our refurb process to ensure that the system is rebuilt to a like-new condition. There's a lot of different levels of refurbishment out there that many of you have probably experienced when purchasing a refurbished tool from one of your potential vendors. And when you receive the tool, it's really an operational tool that's been wiped down, but claimed as refurbished. And that's exactly what we're not providing here. What we provide at Sitek is a high-quality remanufactured piece of equipment where we're going to address every part of the system during that rebuild process. We're going to chemically clean and electropolish all metal parts, which includes the process chamber, the rotor, and everything else outside the chamber. We're going to replace all the consumables, windows, door seals, tubing, anything else that was going to show wear and tear normally over time is automatically replaced. And then we're going to rebuild all the components, such as the motor, the high purity pneumatic valves, and the rotor upright positioner. So that way we're touching every piece of the spin rinse dryer during the rebuild, so that way when you receive the tool, you're impressed by the way it not only looks, but also by the way that it runs. Because our goal is to provide a like-new piece of equipment that's going to perform to OEM specifications, that's backed by our 1-year warranty guarantee. And we can't do that without our extensive rebuild process. And that rebuild process, which this customer will experience, not just comes from the systems that they're purchasing from us, but it also applies to tools that are being sent to Sitek for that service, for the refurbishment service. So that way, whether you buy a tool from us or you receive a tool back from us, that you have the same exact high quality product after we've completed our work on it. Okay, so we've got about 80 seconds left here. And so one of our most popular products that we've been selling to our customers for about 7 or 8 years now is our touchscreen controller retrofit. So this controller is a plug and play replacement to the 101 controller and immediately transforms your system from the old style Semitool that you had to a brand new Sitek tool. We have all the features that you'd expect out of new equipment, such as SexJump communication, data logging, maintenance modes, and a nitrogen purge saver that typically saves our customers $2,000 to $3,000 per year in wasted nitrogen. In this type system, which has a higher nitrogen flow, we're expecting at least $3,000 a year in saved N2 cost, which allows the controller to basically pay for itself. We've also been constantly adding new software features to the controller. The most recent one, which I really love, is the ability to have troubleshooting instructions located directly on the touchscreen. So let's say your system has a motor tach fail alarm. Instead of just having an alarm and now having to go pull a manual or call the vendor and try to get some help to figure it out, if you go into our alarm screen and actually just press the icon of the motor tach alarm, it's going to pop up with troubleshooting right there. So you can immediately start figuring out what's wrong with your system and save time towards getting yourself back up and running. That's just one of the many upgrades that we've done over the years with our controller, as we've received feedback from our customers about what they want and expect out of their spin rinse dryer and our products. Okay, so we're getting to the end here. At 50 RPM, we have our upright feature kicks in. At the end of the process, we're also going to convert over to a blue light, letting an operator know that the system has completed their process run and the product is ready. I can feel both of the nitrogen heaters are purging and warm. The cassette is warm to the touch. And all of our substrates are dry and ready for the next step in your process. All right, so that's going to conclude our video source inspection for today. I'd like to thank you again for taking the time to view it. Again, my name is Daniel, and this is filmed for Sitek Process Solutions. While you're on our YouTube channel, please check out some more videos, and I encourage you to look at our education and how-to section, which shows you how to troubleshoot and take care of your spin rinse dryer, or visit our website at www.sitekprocess.com. But most importantly, I'd love if you picked up the phone and gave us a call, 916-797-9000, and to reach me directly, dial extension 2201. Have a great day.